Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome everybody to our interfaith meeting. Especially want to welcome our guest speaker tonight, Fadasi Abdullah. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name smoothly enough.
Yes.
But thank you for coming tonight, and I'll introduce you again after we've opened properly and gone through our readings and everything.
Okay.
But we come together each Thursday evening to really foster the betterment of humanity, and we have different ways that we do that. But first of all, we live in Australia. We live on an ancient land with ancient people who for over 60,000 years have kept fidelity with their creators' direction to them to be good stewards of the land, to love the land, take care of the land and the waters and of the skies and all people that were on their particular country, and to think of future generations. So we want to really honour those elders who were able to teach and to pass on that tradition through so many generations, which is quite remarkable. Thousands of generations have been able to carry that baton forward. And so we pay our respects to that, and we seek to learn from that and to remember that the land that each of us is on, and because we're on Zoom, we're on different countries' land. I'm on the Worimi people's land, north of Sydney, but many of you are in Sydney. But the land has memory of being loved and respected. So we can sit and we can inherit that. And we can have a different relationship with nature here in this continent than in other parts of the world because of that memory of investment and reciprocity. So as we hear, relatively speaking, new teachings as we go through the readings, it's a reminder to us of how to develop our spiritual life and how to know that God's got a plan for all of the creation, which we are part of. So thank you, Siva, that we'll now play the music and we will take it in turn in doing our allocated readings. Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله ومن يؤمن بالله يهد قلبه والله بكل شيء عليم ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله ومن يؤمن بالله يهد قلبه والله بكل شيء عليم وأطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن توليتم فإنما على رسولنا البلاغ المبين.
I didn't feel like God was talking to me. I just felt
الله لا وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون الله لا إله إلا هو وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدوا لكم فاحذروهم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن من أزواجكم وأولادكم عدوا لكم فاحذروهم وإن تعفوا وتصفحوا وتغفروا فإن الله غفور رحيم إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم واسمعوا وأطيعوا وأنفقوا خيرا لأنفسكم ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون إن تقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا يضاعفه لكم ويغفر لكم والله شكور حليم عالم الغيب والشهادة العزيز الحكيم
commandments, and I will pray the Father, and He will give you another helper, that He may abide with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees Him nor knows Him. But you know Him, for He dwells with you and will be in you, that He may abide with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees Him nor knows Him. But you know Him, for He dwells with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans, I will come to you. If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you, that he may abide with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans, I will come to you, that he may abide with you forever. The Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans, I will come to you. I will not leave you orphans, I will come to you.
Glorified art thou, O Lord my God. Every man of insight confesseth thy sovereignty and thy dominion, and every discerning eye perceiveth the greatness of thy majesty and the compelling power of thy might. The winds of tests are powerless to hold back them that enjoy near access to thee, from setting their faces towards the horizon of thy glory. And the tempests of trials must fail to draw away and hinder such as are wholly devoted to thy will from approaching thy court. Methinks the lamp of thy love is burning in their hearts, and the light of thy tenderness is lit within their breasts. Adversities are incapable of estranging them from thy cause, and the vicissitudes of fortune can never cause them to stray from thy pleasure. I beseech thee, O my God, by them and by the sighs which their hearts utter in their separation from thee, to keep them safe from the mischief of thine adversaries, and to nourish their souls with what thou hast ordained for thy loved ones, on whom shall come no fear, and who shall not be put to grief. Baha'i Scriptures.
These sorrows, thy sense life, rolling to the elements, bringing thee heat and cold, sorrows and joys, is brief and multiple. Bear with it. The soul is not moved. The soul that with a strong and constant calm takes sorrow and takes joy indifferently, lives in the life undying. Hinduism. Birth is suffering, decay is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair are suffering. Not to get what one desires is suffering. In short, the 5 groups of existence are suffering. And what, in brief, are the 5 groups of existence? They are corporeality, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Buddhism.
O Son of Man, for everything there is a sign. The sign of love is fortitude under my decree, and patience under my trials. O Son of Man, if adversity befall thee not in my path, how canst thou walk in the ways of them that are content with my pleasure? If trials afflict thee not in thy longing to meet me, how wilt thou attain the light in thy love for my beauty? O Son of Man, sorrow not save that thou art far from us. Rejoice not save that thou art drawing near and returning unto us. Baha'i Scriptures.
The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he thrusteth away the desire of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. A wise son gathereth in summer, but a son that doeth shamefully sleepeth in harvest. Blessings are upon the head of the righteous, but the mouth of the wicked concealeth violence. The memory of the righteous shall be for a blessing, but the name of the wicked shall rot. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. Judaism.
For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it, if, when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if, when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted that they, the prophets which were before you. Though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Christianity.
We will surely prove you by afflicting you in some measure with fear and hunger and decrease of wealth and loss of life and scarcity of fruits. Those who patiently persevere will truly receive a reward without measure. On no soul do we place a burden greater than it can bear. Islamic Scriptures. Driven by fear, men take to many refuge in mountains, forests, parks, sacred groves, and shrines. But these are not a secure kind of refuge. By taking to this sort of refuge, one is not released from suffering. He who has gone to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha for refuge, though through this is a secure refuge. This is the ultimate refuge. By taking to this refuge, one is indeed released from all suffering.
Buddhism.
Be ye a refuge to the fearful. Bring ye rest and peace to the disturbed. Make ye a provision for the destitute. Be a treasury of riches for the poor. Be a healing medicine for those who suffer pain. Be ye doctor and nurse to the ailing. Promote ye friendship and honour and conciliation and devotion to God in this world of non-existence. Our call concerneth not this youth and the loved ones of God, for they are already sore tried and imprisoned and expect nothing from men such as thee. Our purpose is that thou mayest lift up thy head from the couch of headlessness, shake off the slumber of negligence, and cease to oppose unjustly the servants of God. So long as thy power and ascendancy endure, strive to alleviate the suffering of the oppressed. Shouldst thou judge with fairness and observe with the eye of discernment the conflicts and pursuits of this transient world, thou wouldst readily acknowledge that they are even as the play which we have described, Baha'i scripture.
In this present age, the world of humanity is afflicted with severe sicknesses, and grave disorders which threaten death. Therefore, Baha'u'llah has appeared. He is the real physician, bringing divine remedy and healing to the world of man. He has brought teachings for all ailments, the hidden words, Ishrakat, Tarazat, Tajalliyat, words of paradise, glad tidings, etc. These holy words and teachings are the remedy for the body politic, the divine prescription and real cure for the disorders which afflict the world. Therefore, we must accept and partake of this healing remedy in order that complete recovery may be assured. Every soul who lives according to the teachings of Baha'u'llah is free from the ailments and indispositions which prevail throughout the world of humanity. Otherwise, selfish disorders, intellectual maladies, spiritual sicknesses, imperfections and vices will surround him, and he will not receive the life-giving bounties of God. Baha'i scriptures.
Sorrow not if in these days and on this earthly plane things contrary to your wishes have been ordained and manifested by God for days of blissful joy, of heavenly delight, are assuredly in store for you. Worlds holy and spiritually glorious will be unveiled to your eyes. You are destined by Him in this world and hereafter to partake of the benefits, to share in their joys, and to obtain a portion of their sustaining grace. To each and every one of them. You will no doubt attain to each and every one of them. You will no doubt attain to each and every one of them. You will no doubt attain to each and every one of them. You will no doubt
Okay, thank you everyone for reading and listening. So tonight we have a talk from Ferdowsi Obeidullah, who's the Managing Director of the House of Sakina, an organisation that educates women, particularly those from culturally, linguistically diverse backgrounds, on dealing with domestic violence. She has been acknowledged in the broader community as well as Muslim organisations for her dedication. And I went to the website today and I saw the testimony of someone who was really grateful for the unconditional love and support that they were given. You know, that she was really in a desperate time, she and her child, and she received no judgment, but just really unconditional love and support. So I really look forward to learning more and hearing more of this good work and how you manage to keep the strength to keep serving. So thank you. Please welcome with open hearts.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity. I have my little assistant here. She's going to be sharing some slides. Yes, she's already started. So yes, so here we go. This is our organization called House of Sakina. And about 10 years ago, we had a dream and we envisioned a world where women and the children are treated with respect and dignity within the family and community. So House of Sakina, or it's also known as the Women's Support Center, was established in 2013 under the sponsorship of Charity Australia International to cater for women in crisis situations and help develop networking among women. So you can see the little seed was sowed in 2013, and the first couple of years we kind of wriggled our little way out. And then you can see as we grew along, we started with renting one house to be used as a refuge for women and children fleeing domestic violence. And then as you can see, we've got now 2 of them. And just in the beginning of the year, Faiza, we need to add another one with the 3 leaves now, because now we have 3 different properties that we are using as a refuge for these women. I have to point out that we are not government funded at all. Yes, we've got some little grants here and there for renovations of our office, etc. But other than that, we depend mainly on community donations. So our job as a team of House of Sakina is to go to different places, raise awareness about it, about our center, to different organizations, different women groups, etc. So Faiza, can we go to the next one, please? Yeah. So, what is our service? What are our values? House of Sakina aims to encourage women to help themselves by fostering respect, dignity, and integrity within themselves and their families. deliver non-judgmental services to Muslim women from all backgrounds. Initially, I thought that we would be dealing only with Muslim women, but I found over the 10 years, especially in this new refuge, we've got over the 10 years, we've helped women from all religions and all backgrounds and all races. Provide culturally and religiously appropriate counseling and help to women from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds. So the team at our team speaks many different languages from the South Asian countries. So we are able to, and especially I think when you are in a traumatized state, even if you know a little bit of English, that fails you, and you go back to your mother tongue. And so I suppose that makes it a little bit easier for them. Just today I had a call from this young girl, and her English was okay, but then she said, "Is anybody speaks Urdu?" which I could speak, luckily. So I was able to have a long conversation with her, because sometimes people are just looking to talk to somebody who will listen to them, because they have nobody here. Most of the cases we deal with are coming from overseas. So except their husband or partner, they have nobody. And so they just need somebody to talk to bounce off their feelings and emotions, and ask for some advice on help, how to go forward from here. So going to, so our values, yeah, we read that. Did we read that? No. Providing safety with respect and dignity, enhancing family and community relationships, encouraging equity and diversity, providing a non-judgmental approach, and maintaining professional integrity. So it doesn't matter what situation someone comes in, we are not judgmental at all. And in fact, I can point out that sakina, the word sakina, is an Arabic word which means peace and tranquility. So our goal is, when any woman walks through the doors of House of Sakina, we endeavor to help her and give her some sort of little peace in her troubled and traumatized life. So our mission is to serve and provide professional support to all women in safe and pleasant surroundings, encouraging healthy and safe relationships, focusing on strengthening families. So if you come to our center, it's not like a very formal and very cold kind of place, it's just like a home. And we just sit there, we have a cup of teas with them, and we talk about them. So instantly, I always notice when a woman walks in, she's all troubled, her face you can see. But when she's calm and she settles down and she talks to us, you can actually see, the calm, a little bit of calm coming over their faces, because they say, oh, we are home, kind of. So we are one happy family. So that's what we endeavor to do. And I pride myself in that. And I think that is how we are different to a lot of other refugees, because for some people, you're only a case number, you're only 2598 or whatever it is. And I've heard from cases that if they ring their caseworker after 4 o'clock or something, they do not pick it up. And my phone number is, my mobile phone is with so many people, and I get calls from all over, at all times. So yeah, so so that's what it is. Because I feel people tell me, you have to have boundaries, but I feel somebody's calling you then distressed, and all I can do is at least listen to them, So that's what our mission is, to try and help them as best we can. Coming to one of our main issues that we deal with from day to day is domestic violence. And we all know how rampant it is in all races, in all communities, in all countries. Just a couple of weeks ago, I think there were 3 women killed, killed from, by their ex-husbands or partners. And not to say that men are not victims sometimes of domestic violence, but their numbers are very, very less compared to women being the victims of domestic violence. And, so next slide, Faiza. So we know, domestic violence, a long time ago, I used to think that it's only physical, but it's not. We all know that there's physical abuse, sexual abuse, psychological, economical, and emotional as well. So all these factors together, is what the woman is dealing with at home behind closed doors, with her partner. So the next one, Faiza. stuck on it or something. So yeah, I don't know what's happening there, but any case, so that's what it is. And so what we do is, not all calls that, okay, here it is. This is a crisis accommodation. Our crisis accommodation is short term only. We start with a couple of weeks, and then we refer them on to other government funded agencies and organizations that can offer long-term accommodation. So because we are paying rent for all these properties, which is, as you can imagine, in the Sydney market, how expensive that is. And so that drawing my 6-year-old grandson did, was a little house, and the woman there and the little child there, and hopefully, so that's what it is. But we've had women sometimes who've stayed with us for six months at a time, because obviously we could not just turn them out of the house and say, see you later, just go. So we have quite often crossed those lines and kept them there longer, as much as we can help them with. So that's our short-term crisis accommodation. And now we have another program called Sakina for Seniors. We have a lot of senior women living on their own around the center. And so what our volunteers do is, every third Thursday of the month, our volunteers go and pick them up if they're not able to drive. We bring them to the center. This is our back of the center. And we have a nice lunch. Our volunteers make some lunch for them. And then often we have beneficial talks. Sometimes we may have somebody coming and talking to them about how to apply for aged care, maybe. Or sometimes, with Centrelink, if they've got any issues there, or, other service providers, we have them from time to time, so they can also learn how to navigate, their way, if at all they need those services. So that's one of our projects. We also have food bank, where we have food hampers for when women and children come to our refuges, we do give them weekly groceries, basic groceries. But other than that, we have a lot of single mothers who are really struggling, particularly now after COVID and with the inflation going through the roof. We have food hampers for them, and we go and deliver them to their houses, because a lot of them do not drive, do not have their cars. So that's another project that we have. The other one is a school breakfast program. So where our center is in Rooty Hill, we have a couple of schools, if I can, use the term, a little bit socially, not really in good economic and financial situations. So sometimes we have children who are coming to school without any breakfast. These are just regular public schools. They're not Islamic schools or anything. They're just regular public schools. And every term we ask for a list of the things that they may need to supply breakfast for the whole term. And then we go and deliver it to them. And then also, sometimes they even allow us to come and serve breakfast. So I've gone myself sometimes, and it's such a beautiful feeling when you have these little 6-7-year-olds coming, and some of them are shy to ask for breakfast. But as we know, a hungry child, what are they going to learn? Not much. So we try and do that as well. So that's one of our projects as well. These are just some events we've had. Last year we had in a hall, what we did is we allowed women who are doing small businesses from home, because with lockdown and the COVID, they were not able to go and have stalls or work in the shops or anything. So what we did is we allowed a lot of women to come and do their, sell their businesses. Some had clothes, there were food stalls. So that happened on Sunday, the 6th of March last year, in a very nice hall there in Glenwood. So, and we have, one of our ministers there as well. So that was the International Women's Day and our 9-year anniversary as well it was. So these are some, past, this one was our 2019 annual event. And by the way, our 2023 annual event is coming up shortly, 20th August. It's a Sunday, and our program we are aiming to do from 11 to 1. and there'll be lunch as well. So these are some of the photos from our 2019 one that we had. And this one is the one we had before that. I think it was 2018. So every year, once a year at least, we try to have a fundraiser, not only to collect funds as well, but also to raise awareness. So we invite a lot of people from other organizations and just other people as well. Obviously there's a ticket because we need to pay for the hall and the catering and everything. So that's just a couple of our previous funds we have had. During lockdown, we had like a webinar where we had the mayor of Blacktown, we had a local MP Ed Husick, and what we did was how to cope through COVID. We had a psychologist, we had a lawyer as well, because time to time our cases may need some legal help. So she was the one who advised as to how to navigate, where to seek help and what the procedures of certain cases are. So that was our webinar, I think, 2020, because that's the year COVID struck, right? So that's what it is. So I would think that's with. Yes, so we've ran during COVID, because this is an old presentation, we had a lot of COVID workshops in 3-4 different areas because we talked to them about COVID. We had many Zoom meetings with doctors, so the audience were able to ask questions, and we donated or gave a lot of RATs so people could test themselves at home, and we had talks in different languages so that all the people could understand, even if they didn't speak English very well. Because even if they spoke a little bit, using like COVID and vaccines and things like that would be hard for them to understand. So we had a doctor, we had 4 sessions with them in different languages so that they would ask, and because there was so much of confusion, so much of misinformation about COVID and about vaccines, etc. So we had these doctors to provide that information that they very much needed. So that was what those COVID workshops were. Yes, so I think as far as the slides go, this is what we basically are, see, before I used to only hear the word DV, domestic violence, but now over the years there's DFV, then there's family violence, and I used to think that, what family is? How would the families, how would the parents or siblings, hurt each other? But then that is also, becoming quite common. A few weeks ago, we had 2 sisters actually who, were abused by the parents and other members of the family, and it's really a sad situation out there. I know there's a lot of mental illnesses involved with COVID and loss of jobs. Finances put a lot of pressure as well. But see, this is the thing. This problem is not only mine or just yours. And unless we all unite and work together, because this is for the common good of the community and the people who are most vulnerable and most in need. And for us here in Australia, we do live in a lucky country, and most of us do not have to sleep under the bridge or, go without food. Our fridges are full, and, okay, today I want to eat this, tomorrow I want to eat this. We don't have to worry about where our next meal is coming from. And to think that in Australia, in this day and age, we have people. One time I remember there was a young mother with 2 children, and we had a food hamper. So I asked my assistant, I said, let's just call her and see if she's home. We will go and deliver it. So I went with her, and the lady opened the door, and then she just started crying. And I'm thinking, oh no, what have we done? What wrong have I done? She said she did not have a thing to give the children to take to school as lunch or feed them breakfast. And from the morning, she was praying that, to God, to send some food, and she thought that we were an answer to her prayer. So these are the little things that make life. You were asking, Tracy, how I gather the strength. It is hard. It is hard. Sometimes you think, oh no, I don't think I can do this because I'm not a young person. I'm getting on as well. But the thing is, I'm just so grateful to God, because every time I feel I'm just about to fall somewhere in the darkest of pit, there is some, something that comes up that just puts me back up again, being the confident person. Yes, we can do this. Because just the other day, I was just feeling very down for something. And then, there'll be a donation from most unexpected, or there will be some help from somewhere. So I think all of us, we are all faith-based, and we know we have a, superior being up there, our creator, our maker, who's always there and who always answers our calls. I truly believe in that, because I have seen it happen. Just last week, just because somebody said something about me, I was feeling so sad. And then somebody comes out and says, "Oh, we like what you said that time. Would you come and speak about this? Okay, would you be on a panel?" And that just boosts your confidence again. It is a tough job, I must say, because I have a daughter, and quite often when I look at these young girls, I think, my daughter, that could have been my daughter sitting there. And I would like, God forbid for any daughters to be in that situation. But if she ever was, I would like somebody out there, some kind soul, to help them. So that is what, I become a mother to them. I become a grandmother to their children. And it's good, because now we have like a big extended family. And it's good that they keep in touch with us. Just to think about one or two of our, what can I say, success stories, if I can call it. We had a young lady who came to us with this young baby who was running high temperature, and the father had kicked them out of the house. And luckily she had a car, but she had never ventured out of her neighborhood. So I gave her the directions to come to House of Sakina. And she came like 2-3 hours later, having gone all around Sydney, not knowing her way. When she came to us, her daughter was sick, and she had like a high temperature of 103, 104 degrees. So, we made her comfortable there. And all night she was saying, maybe I'll have to take her to the hospital. I said, look, try and put some cold bandages, give her some Panadol if you've got some, because it's a new area, and I do not want you to drive with your daughter at midnight or something around, and not knowing your way. There could be so much, danger. So I was on the phone constantly, and thank God at about 6 a.m. or so, her fever subsided. And then, later she was referred to an organization that gave them long-term accommodation. She joined university. She's got a couple of master's degrees, and now she's working, and she remarried, and now she has another baby. And it's so heartwarming to see that success story. So there is life, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not like, if this has happened to you and that's the end of the world. We know all around the world there have been women. I always think of, Oprah Winfrey, for example. I mean, she was born in such a poor family. She was sexually abused by relatives, etc., etc. At the age of 12, she had a miscarriage. And everybody knows her story. And, she said, I wasn't educated, I wasn't beautiful by the, regular standards. So I couldn't get a job on TV or Hollywood or anything. But look at her now. She's one of the richest women in the world, making such a big difference, opening schools in Africa and all that. So what I mean to say is we try and give them hope. We try and encourage them. And I think I've spoken a lot now, and I think I should just keep quiet now. I can talk about House of Sakina until the cows come home, but I think, that's just in a nutshell of what we are trying to do.
No, you can continue. You can continue to talk. I stopped the screen sharing so that we can see all the faces.
Okay. So yes, so this is what it is. And obviously we need all the help we can get. And thankfully, I've been involved with Interfaith for some time now, with Father Patrick, as Siva knows. And they come to our events, and we go wherever, whenever we can. So let's face it, we are all humans. We are all, we have one creator, whatever name you want to call him, in whatever way you practice, but underneath it all, we're all the same, isn't it? If you cut me and we cut you, we all have the same red blood. You don't have white and somebody doesn't have green, somebody doesn't have blue. We all have the same. And what do we want in life? We just want to have a peaceful life for our children and for our grandchildren, isn't it? And instead of me trying to just build a little castle of my own, I cannot survive on my own. We're all part of this creation. And unless we all meet together, because it is fear of the unknown. See, I mean, especially now, a lot of Islamophobia is going on, because, whatever you see in the media. But the thing is, because people don't know, they only know about whatever religion, what they're shown on the TV. And obviously, the media needs to sell, the negative sides, because they need those headlines. They need people watching those news. But the thing is, once you meet somebody, therefore, this idea is so good about interfaith, because unless we learn about each other's religions, about each other's beliefs, and then we find out, really speaking, underneath it all, it's all the same. No religion tells you to go and kill somebody. No religion tells you to steal or cheat or hurt anybody. Nobody does that, So yes, the rapping might be different. We may be praying in different languages. It doesn't matter, but we all there, for the good of each other. So I think I really strongly believe in interfaith, because this is something that we all come to the same page. We're all sitting on the same table and learning about each other. So we know that it's not fear of the unknown. Oh, I don't know, Buddhism, what is it? Or what is Bahaism or something? Instead of being scared of these things, it's best to meet, have conversations. That way we learn about each other and overcome those fears of the unknown. Because underneath this all, let's face it, we're all humans, aren't we? So
exactly.
Yeah, I have been told.
What got you started? I mean, that's a very beautiful thing about, 10 years ago, you had a dream.
Yes.
But how did you start? And, what got you started? What got you over the threshold of just being?
Okay. What I used to do, and I think maybe about 20 years or so, I was going through a difficult part in my own personal life, and, you just are so down and you don't know what to do. So I said, okay, it so happened that people started, contacting me by word of mouth. They heard I try and help. So what I used to do is just collect some money from my family and friends and just help them out. I remember one young man, he was, I think, a student in Queensland somewhere, and he heard of me through someone, and his wife was pregnant after like 14 years of marriage or something. And it was going to be a difficult birth. So it was a C-section. When people come from overseas, particularly students, they only have very minimal health insurance, and they were not going to be covered. So I collected some money and sent it off to him. And she delivered a healthy baby boy. And he said, the first call I made was to my mother. And the second call he made to me, because he said, with your donation, we've had, we were able to pay for this, and now we have a, healthy baby. So those are the things that keeps me going. I used to go, I think I may have been one of the only Muslim, or one of the early Muslim women that were allowed to go into the detention center, because at that time, the law was that the whole families were kept there. So there I met families who were in that Tampa situation, if you remember, that boat that sank and all these people, all that drama, babies being thrown overboard were shown to us, but that was not what the case was. So they were, I remember this one. So what happened was, at that time, our festival and Christmas came at the same time. And on TV, there would be an ad about Target where you could leave presents for an 8-year-old girl or 9-year-old boy. So I started thinking, I said, there may be many Muslims in the detention center as well. And who's going to give them any presents for? So I spoke to whoever I needed to speak to, and I cooked. I found out there were 100 people there. So I cooked for 100 people, and I found out how many women, how many children, and we made little gifts and things and which we distributed. And boy, is it eye-opening experience to go into the detention Willowwood Center. It's like huge, barriers, fences all over. You have to go through security. It's like a glorified jail, that's what it was. And so what we thought, for the women, there's always, toiletries that you can give. For men, I really weren't really sure. So we thought, let's give them $10 phone cards that they could call their family or whatever. And I gave this man, he was, I think, a tailor or something from Afghanistan. His wife had 2 children and she was expecting twins or something. And when I gave the card, he kind of just looked at me, and I'm thinking, my judgmental thing came up and said, oh, what was he expecting? We are giving him $10. He can call his family. He said, there is nobody left in my family. They all have died. So, do we ever think of that the whole family has been destroyed? So it's like that. And then what happened was the law changed and the woman was released. The man still stayed in the detention center, and she had given birth to 2 beautiful girls, and she was living in some little flat. I didn't think such flats existed in Australia. It was so horrible, so downtrodden, unbelievable. And these 2 little babies were sleeping on newspapers. I just, broke my heart. And we took some coloring books and pencils for the older girls. They were so happy, like they won the lotto or something like that, because they had never got something like, So we don't realize, you might think, oh, $2 coloring book, big deal. But for them who's never had anything like that, it makes a big difference. So that's where I got started. And then Charity Australia International is a Australian registered organization. What they do is their work mainly is overseas. For example, if there's an earthquake somewhere, or if there's floods anywhere, they collect funds and they go and help. So they've built orphanages and water filtration plants and all that. And surprisingly, we have another house of Sakina in the northernmost part of Pakistan as well. It's a very mountainous region, so not many things get up there. So we've started House of Sakina there as well for women just to become independent. We have like a cottage industry. They do beautiful embroidery and all that. So we have had a place for them. They can come and learn and make things and sell and, earn a little bit of money for themselves as well. So yeah, so that's how I got started. So Charity Australia, they approached me and they said, we are thinking of opening a women's center. So we would like you to manage it. And I'm thinking, yeah, sure. Lots of people say lots of things. I said, yeah, let's see. I never thought that it would actually come through. But then a couple of months later, they said, we have a house for you. And I always used to dream that in those days, 500,000 could get a nice little house. And I would think, oh God, I wish I could get 500,000. I could have this little 3-bedroom house and use it as a refuge. And honestly, when I walked into the house that Charity Australia had, it was like what I had imagined it to be, and little did I know about so many things about house like domestic violence. I thought, oh, okay, if somebody comes, you just help them and all. But over the years, I've been learning as well over the 10 years, and every case is different. And then you learn through experience, okay, if we do it this way, it will help them better. And so, that's our 10-year journey. You're still learning and still progressing and still, trying to move forward and do the best we can, for these people. So thanks to, Charity Australia, we have this base. Otherwise, where would we be working from? We would not have that platform because renting anyway, we didn't have any money. So how could we do that? So we don't pay the rent for that. Charity Australia does. And at least we had 3 bedrooms there. So we started from there. We started keeping women there itself. But then later we realized that it's not really very good for them because sometimes volunteers come and they may see those girls, the confidentiality is breached. So then we said, no, we have to house them somewhere else. And that's how, our journey began. So, we need all your prayers and all your good wishes to help us to keep going and hopefully help more and more women in need. So thank you so much, Shiva, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I was able to, give some little information, little insight on what we are trying to do. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for sharing with us. But some people may have some questions or comments. If you can stay
Sure.
for that.
Yeah, sure.
And just ask everyone to sort of make it relevant and short so that it can be fair. Okay, thank you, Jung. As usual, Jung's first off the bat.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for your lecture. For Lucy, I used to work with the affirmative action programs for women.
Yes.
And equal employment opportunities for a very large organization run $1 billion.
Right.
What I'm asking you, is there any good men out there that the women can rely on so they don't have to rely on you? Because it look like you took the wrong, is a man change when they get here? Like if they from overseas and they change, they come here and they don't want to look after the family and start, put torture on the wife and the kids and ask them to leave the house. So what makes a man change? That's one thing. The second thing, if you said you want to set up a place for women to work, and how much you pay them or they get paid for if they make a piece of clothes. We pay them 45 cents. If they do a skirt or the veil, we pay them $3 or $12 or $50 so they can sell from David Jones or Maya, or we pay them 45 cents. Do you have any lawyers, industrial relations, to look into all these things?
Yes, I mean, with your first question about the men coming from overseas, see, initially I used to think that maybe these men who do these sort of things have come from some little village somewhere and they don't have the education, neither of their religion nor of the world. But to my surprise, there's some very educated men who are doing that. Maybe it is the environment that they've grown up in. Maybe it's the family situation they were in. Maybe their father abused the mother. Who knows what it is? Or they may have some other mental issues that, and sometimes it's their ego. They want to be in power. They want to be in control. So that's what it is. And also, see, the thing is, like I said, because we are not government funded, we're not able to really give like, what you're saying when you give people to work. We are offering different courses for them. Like we have free computer classes, free English classes, and we've taught them how to dress up and how to make up your resume, how to go and look for jobs and things like that. But as paying them, like I said, because our finances are very limited, we are not able to quite do that. Most of us are volunteers actually working for the organization. We only have 1 or 2 girls that come like 2 days a week for 4 hours or something, because obviously everything costs money, isn't it? We do not have those finances. We would love to one day have that funding that we are able to help these women even more.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. They should not be run on ad hoc organization, but they should be with policies. Policy is very important, and you have to have lawyers to save
To
that.
help us, yes.
Otherwise, they get exploited.
That's right. See, again, like I said, I did not have any experience dealing with all this. So slowly, I'm learning. And yes, we are getting our policies in place. And as we are, gaining and awareness, hopefully we'll get all that together in the next couple of years or whatever. We are getting there. We are trying our best to get all that done as well.
Thank you.
Siva?
Thank you, Tracy, and I really thank Ferduzi Abedullah for this. We started this during the COVID, this interfaith meeting, to bring about unity, to remove the prejudices we have.
Yes.
But ours is an effort of talking, but you have amazed us how you actually work in the field, in action, to bring about change, to make a better world. And also, I was surprised that you have actually seen, when everyone talks about Australia, it's a lucky country. We are all in in a very good living condition. But you have seen the lowest
Yes.
sufferings and conditions of life that are unimaginable. Now, when you said that there are children coming to school without breakfast, I couldn't believe that was true.
Yes.
And then when you said that you are the first Muslim woman to be allowed to go to visit the beloved detention center and to see the people there, and even giving a small gift, how much it changed their heart.
Yes.
I think it is a very an eye-opening talk for all of us. And I want to ask you a question now. You mentioned about these children not having breakfast. Do you have any sort of statistics about these kinds of things in Australia, in other parts of Australia?
Look, I mean, I don't have the exact numbers or anything, but I know that it is far more widespread than that we hear about. And it's not due to just poverty, it's due to a lot of reasons. You know, the mother, she may be not well physically, not be in a good mental, psychological state to actually get up and prepare food for the children, prepare breakfast for the children. But unfortunately, I don't have the statistics, but I think in more of the lower socioeconomic areas, I think there will be, quite a few kids who do that, who come to school without, breakfast, unfortunately. So yes, I don't know the exact number, but yes, there are a few.
And any indication about the domestic violence, whether it is more of from the migrant society or?
No, I don't think so, because I mean, the migrants have been here only for a few years. I mean, there is domestic violence in the local Australian communities as well. And sometimes, I mean, and there can be many factors to it. Lack of education, there could be alcohol issues, there could be drug abuse. So that has always been there. In my last event, I read out this beautiful poem, a survivor wrote. I don't know, I don't think we'll have time. That I would have loved to read it out to you.
You can read it.
I can? Okay. Oh, thank you for that. I love it. This poem. It's called I Got Flowers Today. It's by Paulette Kelly. So what does she write? She says, it wasn't my birthday or any other special day. We had our first argument last night, and he said a lot of cruel things that really hurt me. I know he's sorry and didn't mean the things he said, because he sent me flowers today. I got flowers today. It wasn't an anniversary or any other special day. Last night, he threw me into a wall and started to choke me. It seemed like a nightmare. I couldn't believe it was real. I woke up this morning sore and bruised all over. I know he must be sorry, because he sent me flowers today. I got flowers today, and it wasn't Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night, he beat me up again, and it was much worse than all the other times. Quite often we say, oh, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave that abusive relationship? And she answers, she said, if I leave him, what will I do? How will I take care of my kids? What about money? I'm afraid of him and scared to leave. But I know he must be sorry, because he sent me flowers today. And then she says, I got flowers today. Today was a very special day. It was the day of my funeral. Last night, he finally killed me. He beat me to death. If only I had gathered enough courage and strength to leave him, I would not have gotten flowers today. So, that's what happens, that, there's an incident, and then there's this honeymoon period. He brings flowers and chocolates and everything. They seem is fine. And there's another incident, and there's another. And we only hear about them when they've actually died. Nobody talks about the hospitalizations that women go there, with broken arms and fractured this and bruises and God knows what else. It's only out like 2-3 weeks ago, like I said, three women were killed. And every day, I don't know how many, countless of women and children are hospitalized. So it is a big problem. It is a big problem. And definitely, I think the government is trying, but the problem is so vast, especially with housing. And that is why this year's event, we are focusing on homelessness, because domestic violence ultimately leads to homelessness. Because once the husband, they had this, safe house, so they thought, but once they're out there in the open, first of all, if they don't have permanent residency or citizenship, they're not eligible for any Centrelink payment or housing or anything. And housing, they're like 15 years waiting time, because, the demand is so much and there's not enough housing to give them. So it's not a small problem. This is only a tip of the iceberg. And unless we all getting together, to sort this situation out, it is huge. It is really huge.
You won't solve the problem until the love level has gone up for everybody.
Exactly. Yes.
Otherwise, we're hitting into the rock, and the domestic violence is part of that lack of love.
That's
and
right.
lack of respect for human life and dignity.
Right. And I think faith, for me, my faith plays a very important part in my life, because I think your faith is like a compass, like a GPS. You sit in your car without a GPS, you'll go to South Sydney instead of going to North Sydney. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people, that's my own personal opinion, I think many people, like in the census that we had last time, most of the Australians said we have no religion. And what is happening? Again, it's my opinion. The youngsters, especially, they're searching for something. They don't know where to go, what to, I have faith. So if I had a bad day, I sit down and pray to him and talk to him and said, why me, God? Why is this happening? And I feel relieved. I feel, calm. But when you don't have anything, anyone in any faith, I think they just go about here and there, losing their track, and they try drugs and they try alcohol and they try God knows what, and then so many people, you hear of young suicides, people taking their own lives because there is no direction in their lives, unfortunately. And faith to me is like a rock that I hold on to in all the storms, that keeps me grounded, that keeps me get up each morning, that I have something to lean back on. And unfortunately, religion these days, sorry, did you say something?
No, just.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's what I believe. And, there's wars, there's killings, mindless killings, shootings in America. What's happening to the world? There's no value of human life anymore. Somebody just picks up a gun and shoots 10 kids and 2 teachers, as if it's nothing. And so it's a sad world we live in. But unless, hopefully we'll all get together and do our little bit to make the world a better place for our children, for our grandchildren, and for the next few generations, I think.
Yes, thank you. Zora.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Firdausi. That was a really eye-opening, it's a lot of things to say. But I was just wondering whether these things are getting worse, these problems, or it's getting better. Do you think the world is?
To be quite honest, I don't think it's getting better. Yes, domestic violence incidents were taking place 30, 40 years ago as well, I'm sure, everywhere, but nobody talked about it. People were not aware about it. in the last 15, 20 years, there has been awareness. It's coming out in the media and people are more, talking about it. But I think it is becoming worse because, the world we live in, financial situations, there's no jobs, there's mental illness, which is not diagnosed or medicated properly. So all those problems, I think create this mess where they just take it out and become violent. Even with mental illness, there's not a lot of awareness. Like I've been living in Australia for a long time. In the beginning, they really didn't know what it was, to be, if you had schizophrenia or you had a bipolar disorder or you had something or the other. But, people are working, the counselors, the psychologists who are there to help you. But then the psychologists and all, they charge quite an arm and a leg, and the Medicare really doesn't pay much. So people with limited incomes are not able to get the help that they need. And so they just get, fall through the cracks. So definitely, I think it's increasing. More people are coming out. And I think the women too, the victims are finding their voice. So they are coming out, talking about it, and getting help from the services that are out there. Still, it's not a lot, but it's something, it is some little help. They have legal aid to help them guide them through legal issues. There's, Centrelink, there's other things. So yes, so they are there, but it's not that easy, because most of it is online. Maybe their English is not their language, so that makes it so much harder for them, And I think in a lot of communities, the stigma is there of what will people say. So they don't want to talk about it. They just close their lips and suffer in silence. And quite often we found that actually the neighbors have called the police because they've heard screams or, they know. The girls never go out because they'll say, oh, it might bring shame to my family. Or what will people say if they find out about this situation? So it is very hard. It is not an easy situation to be in, particularly if you don't have any family here. Your friends also leave you, I think, when you are in this situation, because most of your friends could be your husband's friends' wives. And, they don't want to know you either. So there's a lot of other angles, present in this situation. So it's tough. It is very tough. So that's why now we are from September, we are running workshops for volunteers to teach them what are the signs to look for domestic violence. And if you see somebody, in fact, on Friday, I'm on a panel talking about those signs, and also then, okay, if you know somebody's, how can you help them without being judgmental? How do we encourage them, and things like that? Because we don't know. You might meet somebody, and we don't know what they have suffered, what happens in their houses behind closed doors. So there are a few signs that you can look for, and especially if you know the person, it's a friend, and suddenly their behavior is changing, or you see that they are not getting out every time, changing of plans, a lot of things like that you can look for. And then slowly, and you just can't walk up to the husband or partner and say, oh, why are you doing this or something? No, it has to be done very subtly, and and with a lot of empathy and a lot of support. Guide them to the services that are out there, and be of whatever support you can give. So we as a community can help them a lot as well. If you know of such situation, make them feel comfortable, go and spend time with them, talk to them, listen to them, more importantly, and just try and be there for them as much as you can.
Thank you. Do you think that there are things that we could prevent this thing to happen, like earlier on rather than when it happens?
Yes. See,
problem.
a lot of education. So a lot of schools now, I know of high schools that are in the year 10, 11, 12, they are talking about domestic violence to, boys and the girls, that, what you should do, what you can and cannot do to each other. What are the laws? What are the differences? So that the teenagers learn right from day one that this is totally wrong. And so they are education, but look, it's not going to happen overnight, but at least they're trying. There are a lot of organizations, there's a lot of government bodies that go to different schools and talk about domestic violence. There are a lot of religious-based organizations in the, like, I can talk about Islamic schools. They also have this educational program that teaches them that, okay, this is not what you're allowed to do. Okay, this is your responsibility. This is your right, but then you have responsibilities as well, whether you're the woman or the man. So they are trying, but hopefully slowly, we will make a difference. And, one day, hopefully the cases start reducing. So we can all try one step at a time, like how you throw a pebble in the pond and how the ripples go and it becomes bigger and bigger. So let's hope you and I, we can do that in our little circle of influence. If we can make a small difference to one person's life, then our life is worth living, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, because we have some programs from the early age for children and then junior youth, which is very important age.
It is very important.
All the ages to learn how to live with other people.
Exactly.
Communicate properly.
Exactly. How to respect the other person, whatever, religion, whatever color they have, whatever background they come from, they are also human. So mutual respect and trust is so important. And like this interfaith, for example, so the children also learn right from the beginning that we are all humans, we all want the same thing. Just because somebody looks different doesn't make them any worse or bad or anything like that at all. Not to listen to the media, forget about that, and just learn for yourself. Meet people, talk to them, and you can start, like you said, right from early childhood, and that can develop as they grow older. And hopefully, inshallah, they become responsible men and women of the community.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Santha?
Thank you very much. You are doing a lot of work outside there. I have a few questions. One is, how do these women know that they have to contact your organization? How do you promote it?
We have, what we have is by word of mouth. We have a website. We are on Facebook also. But other than that, we have the local police station. We have, for example, we get referrals from domestic violence helpline, that people, who report it and they're looking for accommodation, they will ring us. A few of the organizations around us, though they are government funded, they don't have the accommodation. So we've signed MOUs with them that, okay, we will provide the accommodation and groceries, etc., while you do the casework and you help, because we don't have caseworkers. We don't have the finances to employ any. So it's like a partnership. So there's few organizations around that we partner with as well. So yes, I'm surprised. I don't know how people, I remember one time this girl rang me. She had on a Sunday, she had 3 children and she could hardly speak English. And I said, how did you get my number? And she said, my mother gave me your number. So I'm thinking, if your mother is here, why isn't she helping you? Why do you have to call me? Then I found out her mother is overseas in some other country. She rang somebody here and she was given my number to talk to these people because they will help you. So by word of mouth, or some friend will tell us, I have a friend, she's in this difficult situation. Or sometimes people will email us or they will call us, because like I said, we have a website, we have a Facebook page, and so people get to know about us, and then that's how they email us. So one of the organizations like Domestic Violence Helpline or other, even other community organizations, they will ask us. Like yesterday, we had one from one of the Indian ones to say they're looking out for this girl who is homeless and she's sleeping in a car or something like that. So that's how we get a lot of referrals. A lot of people do ring us, call us, and we sometimes have walk-ins. People just hear about us and just walk in, and then obviously we try and do what we can to help them in their situation.
The thing is, how do you get the funding? And also, is there any children they come because of domestic violence?
Definitely. Because see, the husbands, the partners, husbands, whoever they are, they will not keep the children. They don't want to be saddled with the responsibility of the children. So when they kick their wife out, the children go out as well.
So is there any, the question is if there is any children that come because of abuse by the parents, one of them.
Oh, you mean just on their own?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they come to us because we are mainly there for the women, the children. I think they would go through DOCS, maybe Department of Child Security, because they will have the right services and right people to help them. If they're a child on their own reporting abuse.
And funding for the accommodation and all is your fundraising?
Yes. Like I said, we depend totally on community donations. And this beginning of the year, we've rented a 3-bedroom house for which we are paying $2,000, because it doesn't matter which suburb you go. I mean, Rooty Hill, Mount Road is not such an expensive suburb, but even there we are paying $510 or something per week. And at the moment it's house full. And just today I had another call from another organization that we sometimes work with. They're saying they have another, lady, whether they're asking for accommodation. So people are always out because everywhere it's full. There's so much of demand, but there's not enough supplies. Because rents in Sydney, I mean, forget buying. Everything's like $1 million. Where are we community organizations have that kind of money? So we just, we had one, then we had we rented another granny flat that had 3 bedrooms as well. And now we have this house as well. So yes, so just community donations.
And this domestic violence, you mentioned that it is not only physical, but emotional and psychological. What's the difference between emotional and psychology?
Yeah, I suppose they are interchangeable, really. But, they like to, I think, break their spirit, They want to crush them down to the ground, like whatever, always saying taunting words, being cruel to them, things like that, which really hurt the woman, Emotional and psychological, I suppose, they can really be interchangeable. Because, I mean, what is psychology? That's the study of your emotions, isn't it? And how you feel about certain things. So yes, it is that. And sometimes people, some men will do things just to spite them, just to hurt them, just to take revenge on them, Like there was this young girl who had a son, and she was living with her husband and everything was fine. And then, the domestic violence started, then that, and he had kicked her out of the house. And she was an educated pharmacist from one of the South Asian countries. And then what he did was he actually went away with her best friend. So, you just can't imagine the cases that are going on. There's a lot. And just to torture her, he will not carry his own son. His now partner has a son from a previous relationship. So he will come and stand in front of the house or the windows carrying that son on his shoulders. Just to tell his wife, look, I don't care for our son. I am with this son. So how much that would hurt. It should ring me and really cry. It's so painful. It's so painful because sometimes I think it's some men's egos. They want to have that power, that be somehow superior, stronger and all that. And they just want to, be in control, just controlling factor, unfortunately.
Thank you very much.
Just having that power and to plant the idea that you're worthless.
Exactly. Like I said, crush the spirit,
Yes.
So they just feel so hopeless, worthless, no self-esteem, because every day they're being told you are, stupid, you are this, you are that, you are, and this and that and the other. And every day, if you keep on hearing the same things, you begin to believe it deep down, and you have no self-respect or dignity left at all. And I think that's the worst kind of abuse, because I mean, not that physical abuse is good, but at least the wound will heal. Your broken bone will your fracture will, mend. But these scars, emotional scars on your heart and mind, they don't go away that quickly. They remain with you, I think, a lifetime. That's why when you hear on the news, children who've been abused by whoever, their whole lives are gone.
Mm.
They've never been able to trust anybody, never been able to have a normal life, normal relationships with people because of what has happened in their childhood. And that is so sad. That is so sad. So yes, so all we can do is, do our little bit, keep our eyes open, see what we can do. If we find someone, just find ways. Sometimes people just want to listen. Like today, this girl rang, and she's a qualified person. She works in some IT firm, and she said, "I have nobody here. I just want to talk to you. I don't want to complain. I don't want to lodge anything." I said, "No, that's fine. You talk. I'm here. I'm listening." And she just was going on about how she got married and what happened and this and that. And sometimes, see, particularly a lot of us coming from South Asian countries or other countries, we're used to living with a lot of people. We have this whole extended family there, so there's always somebody to bounce off your things. And even though families do have fights, at times like this, they come together, they stick together, But here, when people have just come on their own, they don't have that extended family. They have nobody to talk to. And sometimes people just want to talk, like this girl today. So, so all you can do is just, listen. And if you can make them feel a little bit better, a little bit calmer, then I think it's all worth it, isn't it?
And listening is very powerful.
Very powerful, and without judgment, without saying anything, let them speak and you do just the listening, just to be there, that they know that they are with you and they're listening to you and they're understanding where you're coming from. And I think, like you said, listening is very, very powerful and very, very comforting too, because they know that they're being treated as a human and given some status as a human. And listening to what they're saying, that their words make sense, because the other partner is not going to listen to them. Oh, what do you know? And only I'm the intelligent one, and I know everything, and you don't. So all the time they're being fed those things. And I think it was last month we rescued a woman with 4 children. It was a bitterly cold day in one of the bigger shopping centers. She was sitting there the whole day, and somebody called us. We went and picked them up, brought them to the refuge, giving them blankets and food, and and this and that and the other. So yes, there are just so many cases, all different kinds, all different reasons for it. But yes, they're all there.
Siva, do you mind if we just ask Parimal first?
That is what I wanted to say. Perimal and Marina actually raised their hand. So if Perimal and Marina can give their comments or questions. Thank you.
Parimal?
Pridosi Obedullah.
Yes.
Nice to see you. I like this name.
Yes. You know what it means? Firdosi is an Arabic word which means the highest level in heaven.
Yeah, I've heard.
So my parents named me well. I like my name.
I heard this
Hopefully
name.
I end up there. Hopefully I get there one day.
Okay. I just want to give some suggestion. One is we must empower the woman.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Yes.
Okay, that's one point. Second one is we must learn how to live with the community.
Yes.
If we learn how to live with the community, then this thing there will be minimal.
Yes.
If they live in isolation, so either the man or the woman will take advantage. Bully. Not only the woman is being bullied every time, also is the man.
Yes.
So if they live within the community, there will be a minimal of these things taking place. The next thing I would like to suggest, we must encourage spiritual education in school. This is my observation. If they introduce sex education without spiritual education, it is a danger.
Yes.
So how are we going to do this? If we don't do all these things, we will not succeed. We cannot host people all the while.
That's right. See, with the empowering of women, that's what we are trying to do. We offer them classes. We encourage them to do courses, learn at TAFE. or and help them write their resumes and apply for jobs so they're able to stand on their feet. And that's, like you said, very true. See, with the isolation, with living in the community, the cases we deal are mainly the men are the perpetrators. So what they do is they intentionally do not allow the woman to go out and mix in the community. They will not allow them to have any friends because they are afraid the woman might go and talk about the situation, or she may know about the services. She may know that she can report with the police. So the man doesn't like them to talk to anybody. He goes out to work, or he goes with the friends, but he will not allow the wife to do it. And that is where the problem arises, because like you said, if you're a part of the community, you have that help, that bond, that support. But unfortunately, not all of us can have that, unfortunately. Because they just come, they don't know anything, they haven't been able to, like one case that I remember, 3-4 years ago, a young man, 35 years of age, he had 3-4 children. He had a massive cardiac arrest and he suddenly died. And his wife, she didn't know anything because he would take care of everything. She didn't know which real estate agent the house was rented from, or which bank had the bank account, or she did not know anything, just stood shocked like this. So we would go and would help her, encourage her, and then we found, because how much can we help? We can't help anybody forever. It's that proverb, if you give a man a fish, you just give him dinner. If you teach him to fish, then you give him dinner for life. So she liked cooking and catering. So what we did, we bought her all the things that she needed, all the pots and pans, and made a price list for her. So she's now doing catering from home, and she's making a bit of money, and like you said, empowering. That's how we empowered her, that now she's able to stand on it makes a small difference. She may not be earning thousands, but at least a small start. And more than the financial, I think it's the feeling that you are doing something, the self, what's the word I'm looking for? You feel you achieved something in your life. So, so that's what we're trying to do, is not just help them one time off, but see where they go from there onwards, how we can empower them, how we can help them learn to stand on their feet. Another case that I have, she had 2 small children. She gave birth alone. She didn't have anybody, but now she's gone to TAFE and she's working somewhere. And, it's really, it's really heartwarming to see that. So yes, fortunately, some people are able to come out of that hole, come out of that mess, but not all women are able to get out of it.
We must find a way how to make people live with the community. If they live in isolation, this problem will exist forever.
Yes, that is true.
This is what I'm talking on with my experience.
Yes, that's right.
We engage people within the community. This problem has reduced to the minimal.
Hopefully.
So this is important.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
It is. Thank you.
It looks like Marina had to leave, but she left a message in the chat saying that you're doing a wonderful job, especially without funding.
Thank you. We're trying.
Yes. So is there any other thoughts or comments? Jung? Collins, after you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tracy and Fadusi and Siva. This is very important subject, and look like you're very famous and well known because you receive so many awards that people really look at you like Buddha, Bodhisattva.
Yes.
But you see, it's not, your problem is not that big like you think. Because actually, Australia, we still have a lot of houses and buildings that become vacant because not many overseas students come here and want to pay rent here. So we have plenty of housing, like supply and buildings as far as I see them. And what you have to do is to lobby with the government, go to Parliament House. You get all your people, come to in front of the Parliament House, or you you have to be invited into the debate room.
Yes.
And you need to, as you say, use the power
Yes.
of the voices of your ladies, because otherwise they will say, oh, no house, no building.
Exactly.
All too difficult. But it is not like that.
That's right.
And you have to bring your matter into social media,
Yes.
like current affairs, the Four Corners, ABC channel, SBS channel, because like I've been studying media,
yes,
I know how powerful they can become.
Oh, definitely, definitely, that's right. See,
and including funding too. I mean, it's easy because your problem, part to have to deal with is Home Affairs Department.
Yes.
Because you have people from overseas coming.
Yes.
And therefore that part of Home Department, Home Affairs, as you know, including with all other law agencies.
Maybe I should get your number or your email or something and get some advice and and help from you.
Well, I can only see you, I can only provide general advices.
Yeah, of course.
But for
even
detail, that is so easy. The first letter you should write to is the Department of Home Affairs.
Okay.
Maybe you can give all that advice another time.
Yes.
That's true.
Colin or Siva can provide Jung's email.
Yes, that would be great.
You can
Thank
put
you
it
so
in the
much.
chat, Jung.
Oh yes, thank you, thank you.
I think Mr. Siva is the what you call the link.
Okay,
he know everyone in the government.
Yes.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Siva can provide that. And anyway,
I will share Jung's contact details with you.
But you see, most of thing, I tell you the truth, I dealt with in confidential matter.
Yes.
I'm not, people won't see me because I dealing with confidential, because you can only achieve so much. You will achieve so much if a lot of things you've done is behind the scene.
Yes. True.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But not included foreign affairs also. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jung. Colin, I think you'll be the last person.
Thank you very much, Darcy. It was a wonderful presentation, and very encouraging and enlightening, as well as being heartbreaking. But I'm part of a community which helps our members who are asylum seekers and refugees since about 1980, when we've been trying to support people. And I can think of two sort of social factors. One is that sometimes the husbands are a bit surprised and unhappy, and it just feels quite not right that their wife should suddenly have more freedom in Australia than they had. It's
exactly.
They're angry because they feel it's actually not right.
Yes.
But on the positive side, it's religious principles in Islam, Christianity, Baha'i, etc. In Islam, Muhammad gave women legal rights which they didn't have before, and he raised their status as much as he could at that time.
That's right.
So in the Baha'i community, for example, we definitely remind people of the spiritual principles, the empowerment of women, the resources such as White Ribbon Day and other things.
Yes.
So, but that was very eye-opening to hear the story of the House of Sakina. And I did find on your Facebook page just now that there's a bank account number for donations, in case anyone wants to know.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Talking about donations, I'll be very quick. My granddaughter, she was about 6 or 7, because I do talk about this with my family, that we have this, we have that, obviously, not giving out their names. So I think her parents have this idea that whenever she reads a book, she's given $1 or something. And then she had all that. And in an envelope with her own hands, she wrote my writing and put $7 in it that she had saved, and she sent it to me. because she heard me talk about a mother with her daughter who didn't have any food. So I said, okay, this is a good thing. So what I did with that money was I went and bought bread and milk and eggs, and I showed it to her and said, look, the $7 you gave me, this is what I brought. She was very happy, pleased with herself that she's done a small thing. So we need to start them that young, being aware of the next person and how you are lucky, God has blessed you with so much, but think of the other person who doesn't have anything.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I think that's a very good note to finish on this evening. But if anyone wants to follow up and give a donation, I'm sure that it'll be very readily received, and obviously it's all being channeled, in the where it's needed.
Exactly.
So thank you very much for sharing with us tonight, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Every day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So thank you everyone for coming tonight and bringing your best selves, and we're expanding the common good, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you can call in some other time.
We hope.